I still remember the first day I walked into the West Wing, the air heavy with power, ambition, and something darker I couldn't quite name then. It was July 21, 2017. My dream had come true. I, Anthony Scaramucci, the son of a blue-collar family from Long Island, a man who'd clawed his way from nothing to Wall Street, had just been named White House Communications Director. I thought I was there to serve my country. I didn't realize I had walked into the eye of a storm that would one day tear at the very fabric of America's soul. At first, I believed in Donald Trump. Like millions of Americans, I saw in him the promise of disruption, a businessman who would drain the swamp, challenge corruption, and give voice to the forgotten. I admired his confidence, his raw energy, his ability to dominate every room he entered. To a kid who grew up watching the powerful from the outside, Trump looked like the ultimate winner. But I would soon learn that not all winners deserve their trophies. Inside the White House, things weren't as they seemed. Meetings weren't about policy or progress, they were about loyalty. Every conversation revolved around one question: who's with the president, and who's against him? It wasn't governance. It was a gladiator arena, and I had been thrown into the pit. People smiled to your face, then stabbed you the moment you turned away. Fear ran the place, not vision. And at the center of it all was Trump, a man who demanded devotion, not truth. I lasted 11 days. 11 brutal, humiliating days before I was forced out, publicly ridiculed, torn apart by the same media I'd been sent to tame. It was my fault. I let my ego blind me. I thought I could play his game and still keep my integrity. But nobody walks away clean from that kind of fire. When I left, I told myself I'd move on, rebuild, stay quiet. But silence has a cost, and America was about to pay it. Over the next few years, I watched from the sidelines as Trump's grip on America tightened. I saw him divide families, communities, even churches. Every tweet was a weapon. Every lie, a seed of chaos. He turned neighbor against neighbor, truth against fiction. And somehow, millions still cheered. They called him a savior while the country bled. I saw decent people, folks who loved their country, manipulated by fear and false promises. And I couldn't stay silent anymore. You see, this story isn't about politics. It's about people. It's about how easily a nation can be blinded by charisma, how quickly a democracy can erode when its citizens stop holding power accountable. I remember traveling through small towns after leaving the White House, places where factories had closed, where people felt abandoned. They told me, Trump listens to us. He speaks our language, and I understood their pain. But pain doesn't justify destruction. Every time I spoke out, I lost friends, business partners, invitations. The hate mail poured in. Traitor, turncoat, deep state puppet. But I kept speaking, because I had seen what most hadn't. Behind those closed doors, the damage wasn't theoretical, it was deliberate. Truth was twisted into a weapon, used to punish enemies and protect power. Institutions meant to uphold justice were mocked, weakened, replaced with blind loyalty. And still, Americans let it happen. What broke me most wasn't Trump himself, it was the silence of good people. The senators who knew better but stayed quiet. The media figures who prioritized ratings over responsibility. The voters who shrugged and said, "It's just politics." That silence gave him permission. It gave him power. And now, years later, we're living with the consequences, a country more divided, more angry, more afraid than I've ever seen in my lifetime. But here's the thing about damage: it's not always permanent. I believe in redemption. I've lived it. I was part of the problem once, and I've spent years trying to be part of the solution. I've met Republicans and Democrats, veterans and teenagers, black and white, who are ready to heal this nation. They're tired of hate. They're tired of lies. They want truth again. Not just in politics, but in how we treat each other. There was a moment, not long ago, that reminded me of why I still believe. I was speaking at a town hall in Pennsylvania. A man in the crowd, a lifelong Trump supporter, stood up and said, "I thought you were the enemy. But now I see you're just trying to tell the truth." He didn't clap, he didn't cheer, but his voice shook, and that was enough. Change doesn't come in applause. It comes in understanding. So if you're watching this, remember, democracy doesn't die in one moment. It dies in silence, in apathy, in the small compromises we make with our conscience. The damage we've let happen, the corruption, the division, the deceit, isn't irreversible. But only if we stop pretending it's someone else's problem. It's yours. It's mine. It's ours. I, Anthony Scaramucci, made mistakes. I was seduced by power, blinded by ambition. But I've learned that the greatest act of patriotism isn't in defending a leader, it's in defending the truth. And America, if we still believe in truth, there's hope yet. Because the story of this nation has never been written by tyrants. It's been written by people, flawed, stubborn, courageous, who refuse to let the damage define us. The question is, will we keep letting it happen? Or will we finally stand up and say, enough? Because history is watching, and so are our children.